Shalom Aleichem, everybody. Hope all is well. We have with us a very interesting book that we're going to be going through today. Mechilte de Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, a giant of our people, to say the very least, one of the greatest leaders of all time, of our nation. The leader, the Moshe of his time, the Moses of his generation, the author of the Zohar, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. So in his Midrash, he says something very interesting in regards to the burning bush, about when God revealed himself to Moses in the burning bush, a very high level of prophecy, a specific point where God revealed things to Moses, where Moses' godly awareness reached even greater heights, was the time of the burning bush. So Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai goes through a few reasons as to why God chose to reveal himself through a burning bush. So first we start off by saying, Rabbi Shimon asks a question: Why did Hashem choose to reveal himself to Moses from his lofty heights? Why did he choose to reveal himself through a bush? The sneh, which means the bush, the burning bush, is the roughest of all plants in the world. And if a bird goes into a bush, a bird doesn't leave the bush without a lot of pain, and his organs get cut, and his whole body gets cut. If a bird flies right into a bush and tries to go out, I have a lot of problems. So too, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai compares the slavery in Egypt, the galus in Egypt, the exile in Egypt, as being like stuck in a sharp bush, painful bush, where if an animal flies into a bush, they may not make it out. So too, only one person escaped Egypt. It was such a hard place to escape. The Egyptians had such a tight grasp, such a firm grip on their territory, that it was such a rough exile, both physically and spiritually. The next interesting point is Rabbi Shimon explains how in every exile that we go through, Hashem goes with us. Every struggle that the Jewish people had in our history with whichever nation at the time was rising up against us, Hashem was with us in that struggle, and of course defended us and fought for us. So this is going deeper into this, and then they ask the question. Rabbi Shimon says, so then they go on to say how this also alludes to how Hashem went through our pain with us, that rough exile of Egypt. Hashem was with us. They ask a further question: why did Hashem choose to reveal himself this is where it really shocked me. I found this is absolute gold, spiritual gold in front of us. They ask the question: how come? Why did Hashem choose to reveal himself to Moses in a burning bush? He could have revealed himself at the loftiest heights, the highest point of the world. Seemingly, God should reveal himself to Moses at the highest point, the highest mountain, or the most fanciest, highest peak of the world. It's only fitting, no? Says, we see here in front of our eyes in the holy Midrash, it says Hashem decided to reveal himself to Moshe in a bush, which is the lowest of all plants. Trees, they grow very high up. They grow off the ground. They grow hundreds of feet, like a tall building. Sometimes you see trees that are unbelievably tall. They grow and they grow and they grow. Hashem could have revealed himself in a burning tree and be high up. No, but Hashem decided to reveal himself to Moshe in a burning bush. It shows us Hashem's humility. The humility of God is mind-boggling. Hashem, he's the King of Kings. Every centimeter of space is only here because God gives life to it at every moment. The whole world is dependent on Hashem's causing it to come into being at every moment. There's none other than God. And yet Hashem, in his full-on humility, when he chooses to reveal himself to the prophet Moshe, the highest prophet Moses, he reveals himself in a bush, the lowest plant, the plant which is on the ground almost. It's barely growing out of the ground. It's barely above the ground. That is where Hashem decided to reveal himself to Moshe, and we see how humble Hashem is, that he comes to each and every one of us at our own level. That God, who would be perfectly reasonable if God would reveal himself at the highest point of the mountain. It's Hashem we're talking about. But yet he comes to us at our level, which is unbelievably inspiring. And it's really a lesson to each and every one of us in our daily lives. Because we know that the Torah is not just some interesting book that we learn, but rather it is applicable and it's alive and well, and it's relevant for the right now, because it's beyond time. So to us, if Hashem comes down into a bush for Moses, for each and every one of us, Hashem will come to us in our own level and come reveal himself in our life. If we make room for him, when we make room for God and we search for him, we'll surely find him in all of our endeavors. And God automatically comes into our lives when we make the first move, because God made it so that we have to make the first move. And it goes on to say in the Midrash that in all of our exiles, the Shekhinah comes with us, the divine presence. The holy divine presence comes with us. Hashem's revelation comes with us. That when we're suffering in exile, Hashem, the King of Kings, puts himself through suffering, so to speak, with us. And actually, we know that God feels our pain infinitely more than we feel our own pain. So it's very comforting to note that whatever situation you may find yourself in, above anyone else, God is with you in that situation. And we could further, we learn in Chassidus that it's an interesting idea that why did God choose a burning bush to burn? When Moshe saw the leaves, it's a bush. What was so miraculous about it is that the bush was burning, but the leaves weren't being consumed. It was still green. The leaves weren't burning away. And normally what happens is a fire, it burns up whatever material you put in it, and it breaks up the material and ignites it. But with Moshe Rabbeinu, this fire was completely green, and there was no burning up of the bush. It was still surviving. And this is a lesson to each and every one of us, that when Moshe saw this, he saw it as a lesson for the Jewish people. That the Jewish people, they are, wherever they go in exile, they do not be consumed. They're not being consumed by the exile. Whatever country they may find themselves in, they're not losing themselves. And that's why you see that no matter what, the Jewish person always searches for God. A person could have billions of dollars, could be the most successful, whatever they're searching for. But they're always going to have a thirst for Hashem, because our soul is bound to the Almighty. And we see that as well. Not only that, but the Jewish people are influencing all those around them in those countries that they find themselves in exile. And we see that proof of this with all the righteous Gentiles that are coming forth from the world and are connecting to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob through the 7 laws of Noach and all of their details. So we see that as well in direct connection to the Jewish people's being sent out into exile. And a lot of conversions have happened. Jewish converts have come back to our nation from all of these nations as well. So we see an unbelievable amount of blossoming of godly revelation in exile. But we see that we know that the ultimate plan is for God to bring us back to Eretz Yisrael, to gather us in together with the coming Moshiach. Immediately we will come and we'll see godly revelations far beyond even what Moses has seen, far beyond even what was revealed at the burning bush, and even more than that at the splitting of the seas, and more than that at Mount Sinai. All of these levels will be merely a fraction of what's waiting for us in the days of Moshiach. May we witness it all today. God bless you all. Thank you for all your support. Keep up the amazing work.